Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to show you my top 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes. So if you guys are interested in knowing which are my top 5 favorite eyeshadow palettes, then please continue watching. So I'm going to start showing you the palettes that are more affordable and then going to high end. So the first palette that I have here is the Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air eyeshadow palette, and this is a really beautiful eyeshadow palette. Although it doesn't have any mirror, I think that it's quite good for the price. So I'll be leaving the price somewhere in the screen because I don't remember the price of every palette, so you can guys see accordingly. And I know the price of this one. This retails for $4.99, and I think that it's a great eyeshadow palette for this price. You can see it has amazing color ranges and it has nude colors, it has pink and mauve tones, it also has warm and brown orangey tones, and has nude transition tones, which I love. It also has 2 shimmer shades, which is amazing. I carry this eyeshadow palette whenever I travel and I love it so much. So I'm gonna swatch 2 shades from the palette, and I'm gonna swatch 1 shimmer shade and 1 matte shade so you can guys see the pigmentation accordingly. So I'm gonna swatch first the pink color right here. You can see it is super pigmented, so I'm gonna be swatching it right here. So you can see the pigmentation is really good. And now I'm going to swatch the golden shimmer shadow. As you can see, it is really pigmented as well. It's beautiful for the price, and it is such a versatile palette that you can create a lot of different makeup looks with one single palette, and I love this eyeshadow palette. Moving to my second pick for my top 5 eyeshadow palettes is the Makeup Revolution Reloaded eyeshadow palette, and this also doesn't come with any mirror, and this is in the shade Velvet Rose. And you can see the color range of this palette. So it has more or less the same color scheme than the Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette, but it has some extra shades. It has more shimmer and foil shades. It also has this really dark gray bluish shimmer shade, which is also really pretty. And the pigmentation of Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palettes is to die for. So I love this eyeshadow palette, and I think that this retails for 850 rupees, which is again really good for the price. So let us just swatch 2 shades from the palette. Again, I'm going to swatch 1 shimmer shade and another a matte shade. I'm going to swatch this shade right here. You can see it is beautifully pigmented. Can see the pigmentation is beautiful. Now I'm going to swatch this golden foil shadow. You can see it's amazingly pigmented. Did you see that, guys? It's amazing. So I will definitely recommend you guys to try out this palette because this palette is really beautiful and amazing. The pigmentation is just extraordinary. So yeah, I love it. So moving to my next pick for the top 5 eyeshadow palettes, I have again a Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palette, and this also doesn't come with any mirror, but this is the Makeup Revolution Redemption eyeshadow palette in the shade Essential Matte Second, and it only has matte and nude shades, which is really good because you really need a palette that has nude shades, transition shades, which are beautiful. You have grays, mauve colors, you have really light and nice eyeshadows, you have browns, and my favorite shade from the entire palette is this mauve color right here because it's really good. I use this all the time and I love it. So I'm gonna again swatch 2 shades from the palette. So I'm gonna swatch the mauve shade that I love so much. So you can see it's a really beautiful mauve like shade. I'm gonna swatch it next to the other swatches. So you can see it's beautiful, and I'm gonna now swatch this brown shade right here. This is also really good. You can see the pigmentation. Voila, you can see the pigmentation. It's lovely, and I must recommend you guys to have such a palette because it's really needy to have such a palette that contains matte shades and nude transitional shades. And yeah, that's all for the palette. Now let's move to the next palette. So moving for my next pick for the top 5 eyeshadow palettes, it's the NYX Perfect Filter eyeshadow palette. This eyeshadow doesn't come with a mirror again, and this is the NYX Perfect Filter palette, and this is in the shade Rustic Antique, and I'm just going to show you how the palette looks. So you can see how the palette looks. It has beautiful shades. So you basically get 6 shimmer shades in this palette and the rest are matte shades, and it has more like a warm tone palette. So you can see more like warm tone eyeshadows, and I love this shade right here. It's really pretty. So I'm just going to swatch again 2 shades from the palette. I'm going to swatch this red color right here. So you can see the pigmentation is beautiful. So this palette is more like a fall palette. So this palette is really good for your fall makeups, for your dark makeups, and it's really good. I love the pigmentation of the shadow, you can see, and it's wonderful. Now I'm just going to swatch this shimmer shade right here, which is a maroon kind of shimmer shade. You can see it's more like a copper like shade, and it's really beautiful. Can you see? It has like a metallic touch to it, and I love it. So moving to my last pick for the top 5 eyeshadow palettes, it has to be the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk eyeshadow palette, and this is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. It is really expensive, I must say. Like, Huda Beauty products are quite expensive, and they are, because this is a high-end brand, but it's definitely worth it. So since I'm a makeup artist, I do bridal makeovers, I use this palette a lot on my brides, and I have another palette for myself because I love this eyeshadow so much. I cannot get over it. And yeah, so let's just see how the palette looks. So the palette comes with a huge mirror right here, and it also does come with a separator. You get a separator, and then you have the eyeshadow palette. So you can see how beautiful the eyeshadows are. I love this eyeshadow palette. You basically have warm tones, purples and coral tones, red tones, and beautiful glitter shadows as well, and I love. So I'm just going to swatch again 2 shades from this palette. So I'm going to be swatching this brown matte shadow. Can you see the pigmentation? The eyeshadow is so buttery and so good. So I'm just going to swatch it here. Can you guys see the pigmentation? It's just wonderful. The shades are super buttery and super highly pigmented. That's something I really like about this palette. Now I'm gonna swatch this glittery shimmery shade, which is really beautiful. It's a purple duochrome like shade, and it's really pretty. So I'm gonna swatch it here for you. Can you guys see this shade? It's a really beautiful duochrome shade which looks really flattering. So these are the swatches of all the eyeshadow palettes. All the eyeshadow palettes are quite pigmented and they are really good. So I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this video. If you really like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Moreover, all the eyeshadows shown in this video will be linked down in the description box below in case you guys want to check them out. And yeah, take care of yourself, stay safe, stay at home, and yeah, love you. See you in my next video. Bye guys.